Wonderful 55 Bel Air wagon. Is this the Mark 6 or is it the R-Type? The Jensen 541, now that is a car. The MG Magnet, I think that's a ZA Magnet with a strip on the front wing. You see the little badge just above the grille there. Followed by a Ford Cortina Lotus, the Mark II. Look at that. Pretty wild car. And here's that brilliant little auto car, the veteran auto car. Here's something that was fitted to the Broadspeed Racing XJ12Cs. The old listed Jaguar. Well, good morning all, and we are back at Gawsworth Hall for the annual Classic Car Show. We are a little early, the show doesn't open yet for another hour or so, and we are just queuing up to get inside. What will we see here today? Well, we often see cars that we never see anywhere else. We always get a really great selection, both here in the field down here and around the main hall here at Gawsworth. So whatever happens, we're going to be in for a fantastic day. I have no doubt about that. Right, let's get parked up and then we'll wander back and catch some of the arrivals. Quite a few things here already, but before we're done, this field will be jam-packed full of interesting old cars. But yeah, let's amble down towards the entrance and just check out some of the arrivals as they get here. We always get quite a few pre-war cars at this particular meeting as well. Great little mid-30s Wolseley there. Is that a Hornet, the 6-cylinder, or is it the 4-cylinder Wasp? Sounds like a 6 to me, so I'm going to go with the Wolseley Hornet. Wonderful 55 Bel Air wagon. How cool is that? Proper patina job. An immaculate 1967 Triumph Herald 1200. Sounding just superb. Porsche, and we have a Rover GAM 645. Lovely Rover P2. Triumph Dolomite, very similar to a car I saw at the H&H auction just a couple of days ago. And that is followed by the Triumph Roadster, the Bergerac spec Triumph Roadster, no one in the dicky seat in the back, and following the Porsche we have a 67 Austin Healey 3000. The real rarity behind that, a Lancia Beta Monte Carlo. We last spotted this one at one of the Swettenham Arms evening meets just a couple of weeks back. Is this a 912? It is the 912, so 4-cylinder as opposed to the 6-cylinder 911. Little Wolseley 1500, I really rate those. Little B-Series engine, 1489cc, that's a 64 car. Triumph TR4 behind that with the Surrey top and the centre part of the roof removed, and its younger cousin, the Triumph TR6. The immaculate Morgan just waiting its turn behind the TR6. And burbling away next to me we have Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow 2, all 6 3/4 litres, V8 engine of course. And look at that, a Manchester registered Vauxhall Viva HC. Lovely, immaculate MGTC here, late 1940s will be the date of that, based on the pre-war TB and the TA. Ford Anglia, looks like an Anglia Super if the stripe down the side and the red colour roof is anything to go by. Really cool little cars. Full width wheel trims as well, just to give it a bit of extra pizzazz. A very fruity sounding 100E Anglia. I'm sure that doesn't have its 1172 side valve engine anymore. Sounds very purposeful, great set of wheels on it. Porsche 911 Targa, circa 1984 or 5. And a very hot-rodded Ford Anglia based on the Anglia EO4A. This one we do see the air suspension as well. Yeah, we do see this one around from time to time at the car events that we get to. Amazing paint finish on it. Plenty of Jaguars here today. We've got an XK140 fixed head coupe, complete with louvered bonnet. What a beauty that is. Don't think I've ever seen that one before. Lovely colour. Convertible Mustang, and behind that the Jensen 541. Now that is a car I really do like. I love this era of Jensen. Mainly fiberglass bodied, big Austin engine, big straight six Austin engine under that swoopy body, and just a lovely, lovely looking car. Of course the CV8 replaced those. We've got a Mini Clubman, very original looking Mini Clubman. A B, I'm not entirely sure. What are we looking at here? Dirac. Very cool. Very, very cool way to arrive. And it looks just perfect in these settings. This is one of the best, most picturesque classic car events we get to. The Rover P4 just behind the Dirac. Got an Aston DB5. The gentleman owns that. He's had that since the early 70s and he repainted it, I think, about 40 years ago. It's a 64 car. 67 E-Type Series 1 2+2. It's a great little Austin 7-box saloon. Another Rover P4, this one all over green. That's a 110, the 6-cylinder power car. MGTD next. What is this Leviathan here? Looks like an Armstrong Siddeley. It is indeed. Shape of the radiator and a little sphinx on the top of the radiator. Oh yeah, magnificent way to travel. Note how the rear part of the roof can be folded down. Austin Healey Sprite Mark 1, lovely, lovely example. Mini light wheels, perfect looking car. Little A series engine with twin carbs under that lift up bonnet, rear hinged usually, although some have been converted. Got a 67 Porsche there, and a wonderful Bedford CF camper, about 1971. A genuine Bedford CF Bedouin camper, 1972. Not a converted vehicle, because quite often old ambulances get converted into campers. Super little Moggy Mine 1000 there on an F plate. So what's that, late 67 or 68. Porsche here. Always get quite a few later sports and supercars. And we've got a Porsche, what am I talking about? We've had the Porsche. This is a 7 Series BMW, an E23 era of 7 Series. A mate of mine's dad had one of these and I was offered it for £100, but it was some time ago now. Yep, the E23 replaced by the E32 a few years later. This one from the early 1980s. 6-cylinder car, I assume. My mate's dad's was a 728 with a manual gearbox. Most of the ones we see are 735s now. So usually there's a badge on the boot to give the game away. So that's a 728i, so the 2.8 with the fuel injection, rare car. XK140 drop head, or roadster rather. Lovely looking car. The OTS, the open 2-seater. And the little midge kit car behind that, that's on the 65 registration but looking somewhat older. MGTF follows the midge in. This is the replacement for the TD that we saw just a moment ago. And then we've got a replica Jaguar C-Type, or XK120C as they were officially known. Little Austin Healey Sprite. And the Vauxhall, the Droop Snoot Vauxhall, the sports hatch from the 1970s in a great, very, very dark shade of maroon. XK150, if you follow Harley's channel, we visited the gentleman that owns that, and Harley did a video about all his old cars. That really is a video worth catching if you haven't seen it already. A bit more Porsche action as well behind the XK. Yeah, that 150, and indeed all that gentleman's cars, they are simply gorgeous. Quite the flotilla of Porsches now. I'm guessing maybe they met up somewhere. Ferrari, is that a 348? It is indeed a TB. We'll ignore that. And we've got a TVR, is that a T350? I'm not too well up on my later TVRs, I must confess, but I think that's what it is. Either way, really, really cool thing. No, it is the Tamora. Got a JPS liveried Lotus Europa, the Toyota MR2, the Mark II version. Second Morgan of the morning, I believe, certainly that we've seen. And a glorious 120. And this is another one that Harley did a video of just the other day. Morning. What a glorious car. Harley got to have a ride in that one as well. Lucky little fella. That really is a phenomenal car. Wonderful vintage Rolls-Royce, great headgear. Aston DBS on a K registration. Range Rover, the convertible Range Rover. Famous previous owner, but I forget who it was. XR3i Cabriolet, the Mark IV. I think this is a license-built Messerschmitt. I think, yeah, that's a great little Messerschmitt. And we have another Wolseley 1500. It's usually quite a good turnout of Wolseleys at this event, the Wolseley Club. Always at this one. Another open-top Escort, that based on the Mark III. Another Herald, this time a 1360 with a different front and a slightly larger engine. And behind that, fiberglass Corvette. Again, usually quite a big turnout of Corvettes at this one. As you can see, the main field over there, nicely filling up now. Little midget just purring in. Hey, hey, there's the local Lotus Elan, the S4 that we see most places we go to. He gets to more do's than we do, I think. And behind him, another Lotus, this time the XL. Followed by Esprit and the Jaguar XJS behind that. The V12 XJS. The Triumph TR4 is next, a lovely, lovely example on steel wheels. The Frog Eye Sprite, second one of those we've seen here today, in a glorious 1950s Bentley. Is this the Mark VI or is it the R-Type? I'm not quite sure. Hello sir, which one is it, Mark VI or the R-Type?
Mark VI.
It is the Mark VI, is it? Right, splendid. That gentleman's got quite the collection of cars as well, including a Renault 4CV, Mustang, a TVR Wedge. Always a good place to spot cars. They come at you from both directions here, so you have to keep your wits about you. Jaguar XK, little Fiat 124 Spider, bay window just behind that. Very stylish little cars, all left-hand drive. I don't think they were ever officially sold here in the UK. Pininfarina coachwork. I only know that because I can see the little Farina badge on the back wing. And a Michelotti designed Spitfire, this the Mark IV incarnation of the super popular Triumph Spitfire, a car that can trace its roots back all the way to 1962 and the original Spitfire 4. TR7 drop head, I say TR7, I spy 3.5 litre on the front wing, so I'm guessing that's been upgraded to TR8 spec. Could even be an original TR8, who knows. Porsches, and another little 7 just in the background there, being pursued by an Alfa Romeo Spider. Oh, what a beauty. I can certainly see one of those joining the fleet one day. The MG Magnet, I think that's a ZA Magnet with a strip on the front wing, I think. Yeah, very, very handsome car. Very similar looking to the Wolseley 444 and the 1550. In fact, like the 1550, both that and the Magnet have the B series engines under the bonnet. Rover SD1, first one of those we've seen here today. Quite the queue of cars coming in, very, very sleek looking cars. Not as advanced maybe as the P6 when that first came out, but very, very eye-catching, very, very modern design when they came out in the 1970s. Sunbeam Alpine being pursued by its rival of the day. Well, this is the 6-cylinder MGC, but I was thinking of the MGB when I was talking about a rival for the Alpine. Both really smart, two-seater cars. Burbly, burbly, burbly. We've got a Chevy or a GMC. I think it's a Chevy 5-window cab, half-ton pickup. Little Fiat 124 Coupe, I believe. If I just get that leaf out of the way, we can have a quick look at the badge on the back. Yep, the 124 Sport. There we go. Very, very rare survivor. Yeah. Silver Spirit purrs its way in, of course built-in crew, which isn't all that far away from here. A bit more Ferrari action with an ENZ registration number, ENZ for Enzo of course, and a wonderful red label Bentley Arnage. I do like those a lot. What a fantastic looking car that is. Yes, I could certainly see one of those gracing the driveway one day perhaps. The Rolls-Royce Phantom behind that. Those are the cars with their built-in umbrella in the front doors, if I remember rightly. There's a little Wolseley 1100, the 1966 Lotus Elan Sprint. The drop-head version of the Elan Sprint. They go very well indeed. Lovely 66 Mustang, the fastback Mustang there. We've got an XK150 behind that. Hello. And another Fiat 124 Spider. I'm now joined by my youthful assistant. Good morning, sir. Hello. Greetings. Hello. Greetings. Pretty wild looking Porsche. I like that. Best colour as well. Now there's a rare old girl, the Wolseley 690 no less. Wowzers. It's been a while since I last saw one of those. I think it was in the Dover Transport Museum I last saw one of those, just a few years ago. Apparently I've got a bit of tree on my back.
Not now. Got it back.
I've got a Bentley T2. Behind the Escort we have another Lotus Elan. This, the Lotus Elan Plus 2, lovely blue example with the little headlamps popped up. Really cool car. And behind the Morgan over yonder, another car that Harley's featured on his channel. By gummy, he gets around. He's a busy young man. A wonderful, wonderful Austin Healey there. Been in long-term family ownership. And yeah, if you want to see more of this car, check out Harley's channel, because he's done a video all about that one. He also went to Shelsley Walsh in it just a couple of weeks ago. He gets to ride in some fantastic cars. What's next? We have Morris Minor Traveller, circa 1967 in rose taupe. Lovely little 2CV, of course. Caterham 7s will make it, you know, multiple Caterham 7s. Presumably they gathered somewhere just so they could arrive en masse. Probably another club stand. There are quite a few clubs at this particular event. Yeah. Great to see so many of them together here at the entrance to Gawsworth Hall. Lights ablaze on many of them, side edge exhaust. Yeah, that will certainly clear the wax out of your ears on this lovely bank holiday Monday morning. I have to remind myself what this is. It's a Camaro, Z28 or Z28 Chevrolet Camaro. Behind the very tidy Old English white MGB Roadster with K9 Navigator. Wait, what is this? I have no idea. What is it?
A 1903
Auto car? 1903. Fantastic. Again with K9 companion in the rear quarters. Fantastic to see some of these really, really early cars here. Like I say, we get to see things at this particular event we just don't see anywhere else. And there's the Sunbeam Tiger, 1967, two big pipes sticking out the back, but visually very similar to the Alpine. Camtail Alfa Romeo Spider, the 2000, Bentley Mulsanne, a bit more Porsche action behind that. Another little MG Midget, this one of the round arch cars, i.e. the curvy shaped rear wheel arch version. To most of them are squared off when you see midgets, but for a while they produced these cars with the curvier rear arches, which I think look way nicer myself. But they did revert back to the squared off arches after a while. I think structurally they were just a little bit more solid. More TR Triumph action. We got a TR5, so 2.5 litre fuel injected car with a Surrey roof. My favourite of all the Triumph TRs, I think. More Corvette action there. And another Wolseley 1500, this one from 1964, two-tone car, immaculate car, North Wales registration on that one. Lotus, and even a Saab. Who remembers Saab? Sorely missed. This one, the Midget with the squared off rear arches, so you can see the difference. And behind that, another Triumph TR6, same running gear as a TR5, just in a slightly modified body. SL Merc, one of the R107 series cars, Staffordshire registered that one. TVR Chimera, Very, very modified MG here. It's got a C bonnet on it, so we'll go with MG CGT until we hear otherwise, just in case it's been re-engined. It's got a V8, so it has been re-engined, but it had the MGC bonnet on it with the extra hump. Oh, I spy a bit more classic action just coming down the main road here now. MG Midget, followed by rubber bumper MG BGT, and a kit car inspired by the old XK120s, etc. of the 1940s and 50s. Wonderful pre-war BMW there, or Fraser-Nash BMW, possibly a 328 or something in that series anyway. An RS Turbo, one of the second generation of Ford Escort RS Turbos. Little Ford 100E there, a little popular two-door pop, side valve engine. This is a really weird Brazilian built VW Puma. I've seen that once or twice, but very, very infrequently. Really cool, like I say, all the way from Brazil, that one. More Morgan action there. Big Healy. Probably a Cowley, judging by the size of the lamps. I'm pretty sure that's a bullnose Cowley. There was also the Oxford version as well. And the very first MGs were based on these cars, hence MG for Morris Garages. Super little two-seater with, I think, yeah, there's a dicky seat in the back of that one as well. Lovely car, 1920s Morris Cowley. Steed spec, who remembers the Avengers or the new Avengers in the 1970s? Well, we've got a Steed spec XJ Coupe there with the broad speed arches on it, just like the racing XJ12Cs of the 1970s. Got another round arch Bridget there, that's pretty cool to see. Another of Malvern's finest there. Second fixed head Lotus Elan of the day. That one a 67 registered car. Quite a modern Defender. And a Ferrari behind that. Quite a big turnout of Ferraris at this one usually. And over in the distance there you might see a car that featured on this channel just a little while ago, the Ford V8 Pilot Woody. Looking forward to seeing that one again. Ford Escort Mark II lights ablaze, followed by Nissan Bluebird from the late 1980s. The debumpered Fiat 124 Spider, great looking cars they are. Another 107 series Mercedes SL, lovely shade of blue. Very purposeful. I think this is a resto modded 911 based on a later, possibly a 964. Look at this beauty here. Another little bullnose Morris, this time a 4-seat Tourer. We saw the 2-seater with Dicky before, and it's been joined by the 4-seater there. The Bentley Mulsanne just on its tail as well. Very early Austin A30, one of the AS3 variants with, see the little badge just above the grille there? That tells you that's an AS3, one of the very, very first Austin A30s. The fuel filler cap also in a different position rather. Different speedo as well in these. More lovely big Healy action there, the 3-litre. TR4A behind that, 1967, and its younger cousin, the TR7 drop head coupe, and this car lives very, very close to us, a Star. Magnificent Rolls-Royce there, guessing a 20 horse and 1 dog, and we carry on behind. No, make that 2 dogs. I see 2 dogs. And behind that we have a Wolseley 1660 from 1966. That's a lot of 6s. I used to have one of those. Paid £100 for mine off a work colleague. That was 20 odd years ago. The Jensen Healey, the Lotus powered Jensen Healey, make that 2 Jensen Healeys. Gliding its way in, we have another Wolseley. Could be post-war or could be late pre-war. They kind of look very similar to each other. Make that 2 of those, Wolseley 12. And look at this, the first one of these we've seen here today, the Daimler SP250, or Dart as it was unofficially known, with a 2.5 litre V8 engine, fiberglass body and a great soundtrack. We like that. A TR3A, got a 4-cylinder, just over 2 litre engine size, and another Caterham 7 behind that. Joining its many other brothers here today at Gawsworth Hall. More MGC GT action, the big 3 litre straight 6, and talking of 3 litres, we've got a 3 litre V8 under the bonnet of the Triumph Stag Mark II. Great little moggy here on mini light wheels, some extra lamps on the front, some proper period Lucas lamps on the front. Don't forget to let me know in the comments which car or cars most float your boat. Which car would you most like to offer a home to, because we're going to see some real variety in this one here today. Yeah. 2.5 litre left-hand drive, so presumably brought in from the States, as so many of them have been repatriated after a life spent usually in the sunny climes in the US of A. 66 Mustang there, quite a few of those here. First Amazon we've seen though today, this from 1965, the Rally Spec Volvo Amazon. I used to have one very similar to that with all the timing gear in it. It could even be that one actually. Little Van Plaats, the 1300. Autos or manuals are available. That's the manual, so it's got the twin carbs, a bit like a Cooper S in fact. The automatic versions of those, they just had a single SU, but that one, well, that has the manual gearbox, which makes for a very fun little car to drive. Quite the gaggle of Porsches. I do like this era of air-cooled 911, really cool looking things. And a super little early 1970s Fiat 500. And just like the Porsches in front, rear engine. I spy vintage Rolls-Royce, and this one has a very stylish body on it. Looks like it's a drop head body, 2-door, rear hinge doors. Very stylish looking car indeed. Not huge, some Rolls-Royces are vast, but this one doesn't look too big at all. Notice how the headlamps are dipped down ever so slightly. Yeah, what a beautiful looking car. I really like that. Got a dicky seat in it as well. You can just see the step on the top of the back wing there. So yeah, room for the mother-in-law. Yeah, very swish car indeed, that one. More TR Triumph action, this time a TR3. A Series 1 E-Type, a fixed head coupe. There's a Silver Shadow one wafting its way in. While over that away, coming in from the other direction, a Ford Model A Coupe, or Coupe. Oh, and over here we've got one of the Derby era Bentleys from the mid 1930s, probably a 3.5, unless it's a little bit later, in which case it's just over 4 litres, but either way, very swish looking car indeed. Sunbeam Rapier there, pretty rare sight. Now I think we saw that one at the Coachman. More Corvette action. Looks like this Morgan's seen a bit of action over the years. More early Porsche action here as well. Is it another 912? I ask myself. It could well be. It's a lovely looking car. It is, yep, the 4-cylinder Porsche 912. We're starting to see quite a few of those at the events we get to now. We're just pulling in over from the right, so we've got the Leyland Princess in green, the Wedge Princess. It's the red MGB Roadster just over the way there, just pausing while the car leaves the driveway. That one's got the export spec marker lights on the front wing. and indeed on the rear wing, so maybe that one's been to the States and back. Pretty likely, I would have thought. Quite an early Morgan now. Quite a few Morgans here, but not many that old. It's good to see that one. I love the steel wheels on that. And behind another Healey 3000 we've got the good old Ford Model T, the Tin Lizzie. That a brass rad car. So that's fairly early example, probably mid-teens I would have thought. Left-hand drive, so one of the original American built cars. There's the Van der Plas Princess, the 4-litre R. So that's got a Rolls-Royce design engine under the bonnet, hence the R. Real wafter, the big Farina. Got a split window VW camper, that one the 66, same year as the Van der Plas. And behind it, its slightly younger brother, an early 70s bay window VW camper. Again, with the air-cooled engine in the tail. Suzuki, a water-cooled Suzuki GT 750 there. Ford Fiesta. Don't see too many of those around now. A B Roadster. Mini light wheels, and the MG RV8. Quite a late registered example of the MGB Roadster that started out life as a rubber bumper car and has been converted, as so many have been, to the earlier chrome bumper look. TR250, so that's the American market TR5 basically. The only real difference, left-hand drive and carburetors instead of fuel injection. They've got a TR4 behind it, a TR3A as well, and a great little Riley Elf. So basically the Porsche Mini, that one on slightly wider Steelies, 10-inch wheels of course, and the little boot at the back, the Riley Elf and the Wolseley Hornet. Great yellow TR6 there. And driving serenely towards the gates. Another wonderful old Bentley. What a beauty that is. You can barely hear it run. Yeah, what a magnificent way to arrive at a setting like this. A trio of Roots Group open cars now. Well, I say open, this one has got a fixed roof, this Alpine. Very neat. We've got the regular open top Alpine there and the 67 example behind that. Lovely boat tail perhaps, yeah, boat tail Alpha Spider, left-hand drive. 205 GTI 1.9, followed by a Ford Cortina Lotus, the Mark II. So the Mark I was the Lotus Cortina. Technically, these are the Cortina Lotus. These were assembled by Ford, whereas the Mark I's were built by Lotus. Nice Chimera, this one with the enclosed headlights. Another great little T-Series MG here, HXJ 458. That's a British Racing Green TC, so late 1940s is the date of that one, but yeah, clearly based on the pre-war TA and TB. Its younger brother here. And another Bentley Mulsanne just behind it, looming in the mirrors of the MGB GT. Another MG RV8 just snuck in there, and look at that, it's the Jensen Interceptor. Very swish indeed, the steel-bodied Jensen Interceptor. We saw the 541 just a little bit earlier. Yeah, fantastic. We've got a 2-litre Triumph Vitesse Mark II, ultimate evolution of the Vitesse concept. Mark I Mazda RX-7 here, the rotary engine car. Now if you're ever thinking what would be the perfect car to arrive at a setting like this, well, I think we may just have the answer. Yep, what better way to arrive here than in a wonderful vintage Rolls-Royce. Beautiful, beautiful car. 224 Merc Coupe. Another beautiful Derby era Bentley now. Look at that. Oh, we've got the Piper. This is the only event we ever see this one at. Pretty wild car. Austin 12.4. Great to see all these pre-war beauties here. Porsche 356 follows in the little Wolseley Hornet. Look at that AC Ace. Whoa, look at that. Sunbeam motorcycle. Got a 67 Mini Mark 1, the Morris Mini Minor. The Morris Cooper, in fact. Another rubber bumper MGB Roadster and a Bristol behind that. Which one's that? Never quite sure. Certainly one of the V8 powered cars. And the second Daimler SP250 of the day. Incredible turnout of really early Rolls-Royces here today. The Rolls-Royce Enthusiasts Club always has a really big display at this particular event. Well supported by the owners of lots of these early cars as well as more recent models as well. Carman gear, great. Little car, VW powered. Pretty macho looking TR behind that. Sounds like a 5, but it hasn't got the strips down the side, so we'll go with 4 for now. Quite the flotilla of British classics coming in now. I can hear a straight 6 Triumph, there we go. Another Mark II Triumph Vitesse. Look at that. Welsh registered Austin A60 Cambridge. With a classic motorcycle hot on its heels. The BSA, the Birmingham Small Arms. Straight 6 per from the Mark III Triumph GT6. The 2 litre straight 6 under the bonnet, shared with the big Triumph saloons and the Triumph Vitesse, which we've seen a couple of examples of already, but first GT6 of the day. A very swish 1950s Bentley purring in now. Mark II Mini. And still they come. Bentley Continental, followed by a Pontiac Firebird. One of the best looking muscle cars. I really think these do look particularly cool. Got a Series 1 E-Type Roadster behind that. And another little Morris Mini. Wow. Great colour as well. Super little Morris 1000. I've just been joined by Mrs. OCC. We have deployed Energy Bagel to keep me going.
Oh yeah, you can do a lovely car. Cobra is that on steroids. That's rather nice, isn't it? Nice one.
There's another super little Wolseley Hornet, the badge illuminated in the centre of the radiator. That was a feature of all Wolseleys right to the end. It's getting pretty busy now. We'll have a proper walk around a little bit later once I'm sure that all the interesting arrivals are here. The W114 or 5 Mercedes from the early 1970s. Goodness gracious me, hot rodded Ford V8 Pilot. So there's already one Pilot here today, that pretty much unique Woody that I saw from a distance, which I'm going to have a closer look at later. But this one, a very low riding, much modified V8 Pilot. 124 era of Mercedes E-Class, followed by TR3A. I hear straight 6 Jaguar, and we have a Series 2 E-Type fixed head coupe. Now this AC Ace, this is a car we have featured here before, but it's such a glorious car with quite the history. Apparently used to belong to Bob Gerard, who's quite a well-known, Tony Brooks as well perhaps. Yeah, very famous racing driver Bob Gerard. He regularly used to be seen piloting an ERA at events many years ago.
ERF as well.
Let's have a quick look. So 1955 AC Ace. There we go. So this is the car that the Cobra was based upon. A total of 723 were built and half were exported. So, alright, previous owners include Ferrari Works F1 racing driver Tony Brooks, because he raced for Van Wall as well, Peter Foden of ERF Lorries, and Fred Gilchrist, CEO of John Deere Tractors. Supplied new to well-known Grand Prix racing driver Bob Gerard in October 1955. Also spent some time in South Africa and the USA. And there it is, what a glorious looking engine. Straight 6 triple SU carburetors on this one. Just a joy to behold. And interestingly, you can see there the transverse leaf front suspension. So it's fairly primitive suspension beneath that gorgeous design of bodywork. And yes, that was the inspiration. This was the car that went on to become the 289 and later 427 Cobra, as dreamt up by Carroll Shelby, the chicken farmer, the Texan chicken farmer, former racing driver himself, over in the US of A. But this is the original AC Ace, and what a glorious looking car that is.
Do you think it's cooler?
And you don't see these every day of the week either. The Tickford Capri. This was a limited edition run of the Ford Capri back in the 1980s. I remember a neighbour just a few doors up the road from us, he had one of these, all in white. I've not seen one, I don't think, in this particular colour before. One of the fastest cars in the world, the Tickford Turbo Capri. Oh, so I bet that bobs along quite well indeed. Very rare sight now. There's the Tickford badge, name probably more often associated with Aston Martin. A super debumpered Morgan just over the way here. And look at this, the Batmobile, the 3-litre CSL. So this was the lightweight racing version of the original E9 coupes of the 1970s. And this has got the Batmobile kits, the big wing, and also the little wing over the back window as well, which you can just see about there. When BMW supplied these, I don't think technically these were legal fittings. So they were supplied as a kit in the boot, and you would fit it yourself once you had your brand new 3-litre CSL back home. Yeah, L for lightweight. These were super popular in touring car racing, the European touring cars in the 1970s, up against the likes of the big Jag XJ coupes. 1973, 3-litre CSL, 206 brake, 4-speed box, 134 miles an hour. Yeah, BMW wanted to beat the Capri in the 1970s. Aluminium doors, bonnet and boot skins, hence the L for lightweight. Otherwise pretty similar to the CSI. A 3-litre straight 6 under that bodywork, and what a cool looking car that is. I've got a great 1/18th model of this particular car in the cabinet at OCC HQ. And we go along the row here somewhat earlier, and we've got this beautiful Bristol 403, the Bristol 2 litre. And well, what an amazing looking car that is. Really is quite the stylish machine. Of course, Bristol related to the Bristol Aircraft Company down at Filton, hence the very wind-cheating design. And the interior is also very, very similar to a post-war British aircraft. All gauges, instruments everywhere you look. Quite a roomy four-seater. Not a huge amount of knee room, I suppose, in the back, but what a wonderful shape. All blended in together, and no ugly joins on the panels there. It really is a wonderful looking car. Super leggera, super lightweight, touring bodywork from Milan. It really is a super special looking car. I'm not quite sure what these are for in the roof. 4 of these little chrome studs. I can't imagine it would have had a roof rack on it. Look at the beautiful badge there. What a magnificent looking car that is. Right, so we continue along the row, and there is that DB5 that's been in long-term ownership. Like I said, the gentleman that owned this, he painted it about 40 years ago, and it still looks as fantastic now as it did then, I'm sure. And he's had this for probably 50 odd years. He bought it in December 1969, used it as his daily for 4 years, stored it for 25, and in 1999, right, started to refurbish it, included a bare metal respray. There we go. Bit of the history there if you want to pause the video. And well, not much needs to be said about the DB5, and what a cool looking car that is. Forever associated with 007, of course, but even in their own right, even without that link, they are just a gorgeous, gorgeous car. And again, it's the interiors that really blow my mind in cars, British cars of this era. They just look to be such a special place to sit. Proper, correct Motorola radio just in the centre of the dash there with the speaker below it. Manual gear change, and as many gauges as you could possibly want. That really is neat. A few motorcycles just coming in over there, but we will stick to the job in hand and admire this wonderful Aston DB5. Series 1 E-Type 2+2 just over the way here on a 67 registration number, completing this trio of red cars, these immaculate red cars in front of Gawsworth Hall itself. And here's that brilliant little auto car, the veteran auto car. Oh, just such a different thing to drive. No brakes on the front, of course, you just got your little greasing points there. Gas lighting, a manual hooter, the little horn just over the way. I like the auto car script on the steps. Yeah, tiller steering, no steering wheel. There we go, 1903 auto car. There we go. Yeah, tiller steering.
There is.
Super simple wooden spoke wheels, semi-elliptic leaf springs at either end of the car. There's the rear ones there. So you got a couple of little seats in the back with the entrance door in the middle of the back panel. The wicker brolly holder. Hopefully we won't be needing that today. Pretty cool to see that. And look at this behind it, a Carrera RS 2.7, complete contrast to the 1903 autocar. That's the joy of this event. Cars you don't tend to see anywhere else, and a real variety of cars as well. This one, a right-hand drive 2.7. There are some recreated cars around, and there are some originals. Let's have a look. There is an information board in the window, which is always super helpful. So here we go, 911 Carrera RS 2.7 Touring. Wow. One of the first batch of 500 lightweight 911 cars built in 73 for competition homologation purposes. There we go, there's a bit of the history. So, the real deal, 73 RS 2.7. See a magenta GT6 just following an Alpha GTV in over there. So cars still arriving. And here we have the great Tin Lizzie. This one you can see here with the aftermarket speedometer drive fitted to the front hub there. A gear driven drive up to speedometer, might be a Stewart speedometer. I'll have a quick poke inside in a moment, but yeah, look at those beautiful brass lamps. A little temperature gauge on top of the rad. A Shell 2-gallon tin just on the side there. That's nice. And that, yeah, the Speedo is just over to the other side there. So that's an aftermarket option. These were pretty basic cars when they came out, but not long, and there'll be all sorts of accessories offered for the owners of the Tin Lizzie. These, well, this just brought motoring to the masses in the US of A, and then they went on to be built under licence here in the UK at the Manchester, the Trafford Park plant as well. Yeah, this is quite an early brass rad car. Looks like we've got a bit of info on the front wing as well. So it's a 1913, so just pre-Great War. Model T introduced in October of 1908. Production ended in 1927 with over 15 million being made, 300,000 of which were in the UK at the Manchester plant. So there we go. Bit of history, bit of context. There's a little speedometer. I don't think the needle will be troubling the 60 anytime soon, but I guess it's kind of handy to have a Speedo, isn't it? Wonderful wooden steering wheel, the brass centre. And behind that, this glorious Fraser Nash. The Fraser Nash BMW. I know Harley's been chatting to the owners of this one, so hopefully there will be a video forthcoming before too long on this super little car. I spy scooter. Talking of recreations, we've got another XK120C, the Jaguar C-Type, wonderful looking and sounding car. Ferrari Club always have a big presence here on the right hand side of the main lawn. If you're watching this video for the first time, welcome to the channel. I've spoken to a few people who've discovered this event through watching previous Gawsworth Hall videos that I've done on the channel, so a big thanks for that. I'm glad they are proving to be of use and of some interest. This really is an excellent event. If you can only get to one event this year in this neck of the woods in the northwest, well, this is probably the one. This Cortina will be familiar to regulars on the channel. It's quite an early A-frame suspension Lotus Cortina, and it is in stunning condition. Right, we will carry on because this car has featured quite a few times before. The Alpine A110, well, that is a truly stunning car, the inspiration for the later, more recent Alpines. And when these were first, the design of these was first being penned, they used the Renault 4CV as a bit of a basis for it, apparently. Obviously much modified and redeveloped, but that was where things started to form. The idea started to form, which ultimately led to the A110. This is the 1903 Dirac, so we saw the auto car, lovely little doggy, and this is the 1903 Dirac. Fantastic, proper London to Brighton spec veteran car here. What an amazing thing. Yeah, just wonderful. Polished brass, the quality of the fittings on this era of car, just a joy to behold. Even though I don't know much about veteran cars, you just take one look at them and you can just recognise that these things were built really without compromise at all. Because motoring, was very much the preserve of the well-to-do back then. So rear entrance tonneau. So again, with a little door just on the back panel. So rear entrance tonneau, that is what we're looking at here, with a little door just set into the rear panel. And you would clamber on board that way for the rear seat passengers anyway. And look how, I love the way they curve around. Very comfortable seating arrangements. Not much in the way of weather protection, but they were hardy types back in those days. Yeah, what a treat to see that here today. So I think this field is as good a place to start as any, so we will work our way down the right hand side There's the little Fiat 500, the Nuova 500, the new 500 which took over from the Topolino. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful example. The little opening roof on the top as well. A guide there to your gear selection and speeds. Pretty neat little detail. Super little mirror there as well, just clamped to the forward edge of the door. Alongside MGTC, so I've seen a few of these here today. This one looks to be probably an older restoration, slightly weathered in, but I kind of like seeing cars with aged paint. Just gives them a bit more character, I think. Great to see that. So post-war, 46, 47, 8, that kind of era. Right-hand drive B alongside chrome wires on this one, 67 or 8. And we've got the two bullnose Morrises together. So yep, that is a Cowley, and this is an Oxford, right? So Cowley with a slightly smaller lamp arrangement, Oxford just a little bit more at market compared to the Cowley, but otherwise very similar. I believe the Oxford has a slightly larger engine as well. So this one is the second car we saw arrive, the 4-seat Tourer. This, the 2-seater with the dicky in the back, looks very, very original. Side valve 4-cylinder engine, there we go. Very reliable, very dependable engines. Lots of these still do great mileages. Pretty well supported. You've got the magneto down there, providing the sparks to the 4 plugs. Another 2-gallon can there. Shell can with the correct cap on it, importantly. Look at that wonderful hooter just on the floor there, the hand-operated hooter. Don't think I've seen one of those before, and that's really, really neat. A little pipe holder as well. Never leave home without your favourite pipe. Yeah, so basically a 2-seater, but you have got the occasional seat in the back here. So there's the step just on the rear of the chassis, and then you clamber on board here, pop that back, and you'll have a little seat just in there. Whereas the Oxford alongside the Cowley, that is a full 4-seater with weather protection for everyone on board. And again, lovely, lovely interior. Lots and lots of plated parts, nickel plated parts everywhere you look. This one looks like they've got the Oster screens in the back to give a little bit of weather protection to the rear seat passengers when the roof is down, because it can get quite blustery in the back of a big 4-seater Tourer. When I sold my 24 Dodge just a few years back, about 2 or 3 years ago, was it, something like that, I sold it to a gentleman that runs a wedding car company, and I thought, really? Are you really going to put the bride in the back of an open vintage Tourer? He might need to rethink that one. But yeah, what a beautiful pair of vintage Morrises here. Right, we carry on. This is the Star that lives pretty close to us. This one very well used, very regularly used. Goes all over the place here in the UK, and indeed across to Ireland on several forays. Quite an unusual car, quite a wide car, again with the dicky seat or the mother-in-law seat in the back, rumble seat in America. This, the Daimler SP250, the big fins, very un-Daimler-like looking car with a 2.5 litre V8 engine, shared with the V8 250, which was the Daimler badged version of the Mark II. So basically the same engine in both cars, I believe. Partway through production of these, Jaguar took over Daimler, and they did quite a lot of re-engineering, because some of the earlier cars, they did tend to flex a little bit, being fiberglass bodied, doors could ping open, that kind of thing. So Jag did quite a lot of re-engineering and continued this in production for quite some time. Right here, next to the Daimler, the very distinctive Daimler, is this immaculate VW Beetle, one of the 6-volt cars with the slopey headlights. And it's nice to see one that hasn't been really modified. So many VW Beetles have been modified over the years. Of course, the modifying scene with VWs, well, it's legendary and it's been going on for years and years, but every now and again it's really nice to see one that's just got a few accessories, but in period accessories, such as these lovely Bosch lamps, a spot and fog lamp, both Bosch branded. Just the sort of thing this car would have had when it was new. But no air suspension or big wheels or Porsche wheels or anything like that. It just looked proper. and it really makes a change to see one in such lovely original condition. And on the back seat there is that National Benzol service there. Now I've got one of those in the garage, and that's like a padded thing, and you put that around the fuel filler neck so that you don't drip down the bodywork of your car. And there's a bit of a history. First time I saw it, H&H Classic Car Auction in Buxton 2019. So there we go, there's the potted history of this car, if you want to pause the video and have a read all about it. Isn't that wonderful? What a treat to see such an original oval window VW Beetle, the small backlights, nice GB plate on the back. Yeah, it really is. Stunning looking car, same colour as the PV544 Volvo that I had just a few years ago. Very, very, very pale blue. Have you got a Tiger in your tank, I wonder? Right, and next to that we go back to probably the late 20s, maybe 1930. The Ford Model A, this the two-door coupe, 3.3 litre side valve engine, very dependable. The Model A, the replacement for the Model T, which we were looking at just a few moments ago. This one's got an aftermarket radiator cover, this sort of protector thing, that's an aftermarket fitting over the, just to protect really the radiator core. Yeah, two-door coupe, strict two-seater, the bonnet going up, so let's go around the other side and we can have a look. Some of these were sold with a slightly smaller capacity engine. Is this the original 3.3? It is a 3.3, because there was a tax brake version, I think, of this engine, which was also offered for a time, but this is the original. It's a left-hand drive, so this is the full fat, the real deal, 3.3 4-cylinder. Same engine as I had in a Model AA truck. That was a 1930 truck. It's nice to see the proper, these coolant hoses, that's the correct colour hoses from the Model A. There's the water pump just hung out the front there. Distributor on the top, nice and easy to get to. No HT leads, you've just got these solid wires for the HTs. There we go. Oh, let's have a quick peer inside. Thank you, sir. Oh, you're right. So we've got the bench seat and the two-door coupe. Beautiful. So what year is this one then?
1930.
This is a 30, is it? Right. I was trying to guess what age it is. Have you had it a long time?
Yes, I've had it 4 years now.
4 years?
4.5 years.
Oh, right. Yeah. So did you want one of these, or did this just pop up? Or?
It popped up and I've always liked them.
Have you? Did you have anything old before this? Or?
Not this old, no.
Oh, right. So what do you reckon to it then? Do you like this?
Yeah, I've got performance cars, but I still go out in this and enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's
just very usable, aren't they?
Smile.
Yeah, they're great looking things, aren't they? Especially the coupes. I think they really are cool. So has it got? So there's not a seat in there, is there? Oh, there is a seat in there, is there? Oh, right. Let's have a look in here. So I've got the mother-in-law seat, or well, this would be rumble seat, being American. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, isn't that fantastic? Ooh, the Oxford is going already. I'm glad we got to see that one before it disappeared. Let's go and have a look in this corner over here. I think this is the Manchester Historic Vehicle Club. We usually have a huge array of cars on display, and yeah, very much the same today. A couple of E-types here, both Series 1s. This a 66. Bit of info in the window. This is a car that I featured on my channel not that long ago, because this also belongs to the gentleman with the V8 Pilot Woody, which is parked around here somewhere. So this shares the garage with that particular car. In fact, you can just see the roof of the Woody over the back over there, so we'll go and check that out in a minute. But we'll just have a quick scoot around here. Lovely fixed head. Sure Holly would like that one with that registration number on it. A beautiful, beautiful car that is. Super little midget 1500, Welsh registered. There's the rose taupe Morris Minor Traveller, we saw come in before. The Citroen DS. Now we didn't see this one coming in. An early 70s car. What a wild, wild looking car. The window's open so we can poke the camera in there and have a quick look. So it's a right-hand drive. Wow, what an amazing, amazing interior. And just incredibly stylish cars. I love how the turn signals are in this moulding on the back of the roof. Such a distinctive, incredible car, floating along as they do. really is quite something. We've got a Bentley, a Ferrari just tucked away over the way there. Let's go back to the Historic Vehicle Club, the Manchester Club, and see what else is here. I'm conscious that the videos do go on a little bit, so I'll try and speed things up just a little bit. Got a Rover P5 3 litre, the 6-cylinder power car before they shoehorned the Buick engine. Stag. Gorgeous Riley here. This is the Riley Lynx from 1933. So a 2-door 4-seater Tourer. Very swish indeed. MGA Roadster there. Little Austin 7, is it a 7? Yeah, Austin 7 Ruby. So that's a 1937 car. So this is the Mark II Ruby, which is slightly more streamlined. This sort of curves, this angles back just a bit more, the windscreen pillar, compared to the Mark 1. And also the Mark 1 had little ping out windows, whereas this does not. I think they wind down a little bit actually, the rear side windows, but this is a lot more curvy on the Mark 2s compared to the Mark 1 Ruby. Same engine, 747cc, the same engine pretty much as was fitted to the first Austin 7 way back in 1922. We've got an MG Y Series here, lovely Y Series saloon. This a YA from 1950, it's the same year as that V8 Pilot that we had just a year or two back. And these are lovely looking cars. This body shell is based on that of the Morris 8 Series E, albeit with a different front, bigger tail on it, but the middle bit is Series E Morris. Right, Stag here, the Ford Consul Classic, the 4-door Ford Consul Classic saloon, bit of a rarity that one. Devon registration, somewhere Exeter, that neck of the woods. What do we have here? This is a front wheel drive BSA Scout. There we go. 4-cylinder side valve, 1141cc. Bit of the history there. So quite an unusual car, being front wheel drive. Lots and lots of leaf spring action going on down there. If we just have a closer look at that, you can see, wow, that 4-quarter elliptic springs, I think. Wow, quite the machine. Right, here's the incredible, well, I say Messerschmitt, this is one of the license-built FMR Messerschmitts. The KR200, the B Roadster, another Messerschmitt alongside it, again the FMR produced car. The Riley 1.5, now this is the sporty pepped up version of the Wolseley 1500, but this is the Riley version with the twin carbs, just a little bit sportier compared to the Wolseley 1500, but otherwise very, very similar indeed. Got an XK140 Roadster here, very swish, obviously based on the 120 that came before. Much bigger bumpers, different grille, bit more passenger space in these compared to the 120 as well. Got another Riley Lynx just over the way here, very, very popular choice in vintage car circles. We like that, that's a nice colour, I like that. Let's have a quick look inside here. It's a Riley 9 Lynx, 1934 1100cc, the 9-horse engine. That engine was used in so many different Rileys. Let's see if we can just stick our head in there and have a look at that wonderful dash. Very much a sporting choice back in the 1930s. Ferrari over here, and here we have that wonderful V8 Pilot. If you're new to the channel, I did a video all about this car just a couple of months or so back. That was a fun day, that was. Having a good look around this one. The owner's other cars in this collection, which a separate video came out for. And then we went for a run down the road in this actual car, and it really was a treat. Such a thing. What an amazing, amazing looking car. Next to the V8 Pilot, Triumph Roadster. This is a 2000 Roadster from 1949. Stunning car. And this one, well, we did see this one just a few days ago at the H&H auction. Stunning Triumph Dolomite 1460 foursome coupe, last of its type on the road. Yeah, there you go, that's for sale if you're interested. There's the number. Yeah, I was looking at this one over in Buxton just a few days ago. What a cracker it is. Let's amble up this next row. We've got the 150 fixed head coupe. And that was a seriously handsome motor car. The RS2000 alongside. Again, super popular they are. The Mark II Escort next to that. Here's the Fiat 124 Sport. Particularly unusual car now, the little coupe. And here, the 120 fixed head with period mods. Lots and lots of upgrades on this one. And it is, well, it just is a very, very special car. Wonderful colour. The gentleman that owns this has a fantastic collection. I urge you to check out Harley's Car Traction channel, because we did a video for his channel featuring this and the other cars. And that really was a very, very enjoyable day, spending time chatting about this glorious, glorious 120 fixed head coupe from 1952. Right, we carry on our voyage admiring lovely cars. Here is the BRG 150. Again, this is a car that's featured on Harley's channel. He certainly mixes in the right circles. The C-Type Jaguar replica here. Beautiful car. Designed very much with sports car racing in the early 1950s. The XK120C was the factory internal name for these, but everyone calls them C-Types. MGTF, the 1500, and in front of the Star we have the box saloon, the little Austin 7 box saloon there, the chrome rad car. Bonnet up on the XK140 fixed head coupe. This is that beautiful maroon example we saw. So very different. At first glance looks pretty similar to the 120, but when you actually start looking closer, lots and lots of detail differences. Like I say, just a bit more room inside for the people sat behind the steering wheel, a bit more leg room. This one, it says Jaguar Type C, so maybe there are a few engine tweaks in this one. The twin can covers of the XK engine there. This is an engine that made its debut in the XK120 way back in 1948. Beautiful, beautiful car. Here we've got another Jaguar powered car. MGTC in black, glistening in black, lovely car, late 1940s. And on the end here we've got an XK150.
A lot of money.
Here's the green Porsche 912. Great roof rack, complete with wicker picnic basket on the top, left-hand drive as well. Really is a neat looking little car. A magnificent Rolls-Royce there. Let's see which model this is. I'm not too well up on my early Rolls-Royces. This is a 2530 limousine, 1936 Park Ward, 6 light coachwork on this one. So 6 light, 3 windows per side. Nothing to do with headlights. Right, there we go. Just wonderful. The quality, the adjustable shutters on the front of the radiator here to control the airflow and the cooling to the engine. Just a real treat to see these wonderful, wonderful quality cars here. More Bullnose Morris action alongside. Super little Cowley. The Riley here. Big Riley 4-seat Tourer. Bonnet up on this one. Got a gravity fuel feed, the fuel filler under the bonnet itself. Little Zenith carburettor, 4-cylinder engine. Lovely, lovely car. Fiat 600 from 1964 alongside. Another Riley Lynx here. So another 2-door 4-seat Riley Lynx. Now we've seen 3 Bullnose Morrises, and now we've got one of the flat nose cars. This one, the Cowley. I remember dragging one of these out of a farm building many years ago now. That one was in white, but otherwise very similar to this. Very spacious 4-seater Tourer. I love the original number plates. Hand painted. Great to see. Another Fiat Nuova 500, as it says there. What a great, great event. Just a very, very civilised event. We've got the Jowett alongside the little Jowett Jupiter sports car. Similar engine, the Boxer engine, the 4-cylinder Boxer, so 2 cylinders going one way and two alongside it. Very low slung engine, same as the Jowett Javelin. There you go. So boxer engine, 2 cylinders that side, 2 cylinders that side, going that way, the pistons. Radiator behind the engine, just over there. Very, very distinctive cars. Jowett, very interesting company. They really did things their own way, took on the big players from their factory in Idle in Bradford in Yorkshire. But yeah, didn't last too much longer after these cars were produced. Gearbox problems with the Javelin, that was one of their downfalls. But yeah, very advanced little cars, very sporting cars, go very, very well. And, yeah, beautifully equipped. Nice Philips radio, transistorized radio in the centre of the dash there as well. Lovely, lovely car. Here we have the Pininfarina bodied Lancia Beta Monte Carlo. Like I say, we saw that one at the Swettenham Arms not that long ago. This incredible Range Rover we have seen here before. Little Alpha Spider, one of the fairly late examples. And quite an original MGTC in green, just at the end of the row here. Looks like a very, very usable car, clearly based on the earlier pre-war MGs. They're such popular cars, those little midgets. But this is the TC midget from 46, 48, that kind of time frame. And we go to the next row over here, a bit more, well, look at that wonderful Rover. This, a Rover 16. Is this based on the early P2, or it could even be the P1? Rover 16 drop air coupe, 1939, bodied by Salmons and Sons of Newport Pagnell. There we go. Only a handful of these have survived. This was the last 16 horse drop air coupe built for Rover in 1939. And that really is a very, very swish car. Rover's real quality jobs back in the day. Beautiful plated fittings on the folding drop head coupe roof. Spare wheel hidden away at the back there. Nice and roomy. Look at the space. You see quite a few 4-seat Touras, but not many have this much legroom. The Blumels Brooklyn steering wheel just there. Always look very nice. Pretty cool car. Freewheel on the gearbox as well. Got a Porsche 356 alongside it. Great stuff. Reliant Kitten, the 4-wheel Reliant Kitten. Still fiberglass body, just like the 3-wheel Robin, but this, the 4-wheeler. Quite tunable cars, these actually. Very clean little car that is. And we've got a big Austin here. I'm not quite sure which model we're looking at. A 4-seater, it's probably a 12 or a 14, I would have thought. Yeah, nice to see lots of these pre-war saloons here. Built in Longbridge. What year would that be? It's still on the spoke wheels, so I'm going to guess 35 or 36. Because after a while they went to the solid, easy, clean wheels. That Standard 10 from 1934, the Standard 10 Deluxe. Don't see too many pre-war standards around nowadays. This is a very bonny little car, 4-seater, 4-door saloon, both doors rear hinged. You'll note the so-called suicide doors. Got a period advert here. So there we go, 1934 Standard 10 from £168. What a lovely little car. You've got little sunroof drains, that's what these are, on the top of the roof. Big, big opening sunroof as well. Looks like super original leather trim in there as well. I like that. Yeah, nice. Really rare little car, this one. Is this one yours, sir?
Yeah.
Let's have a quick. So what's the story with this then? How did you end up buying this?
The wife saw it in advertised, and she asked her brother, who has the garage, to come and look at it and check it out.
Oh yeah.
and he couldn't be bothered, so that was it. It went off the market, came back on the market, and the wife said to me, "You gonna come down and look at this thing?" And he said, "Oh, I haven't got time, you know." And then eventually she had another go at him, and he said, "I'm not gonna, you're not gonna give up till I come and look at this car."
Excellent.
So when we got down to Stafford Way, where it was, just fell in love with it, you know.
Yeah, so you were you looking for a pre-war car at the time, or did you just? Oh right. Yeah.
Well, he had a Ruby.
Well, let's have a quick peer inside then. Let's have a quick look inside. Oh, it's lovely. Lovely. I love the original seats in it. Yeah, it's lovely trim, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, but it's evolved to what you see now, isn't it? You know, if you retrim that, it'd just be a...
The back seat, I had to rebuild the wood in the back.
Oh, the wood had gone, had it, in the seat, right.
All these panels here is ply.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's 92 years old now.
Yeah, so...
It just absolutely come apart.
So you're able to remake the ply and keep the original...
Tried to
Wow.
try together while I got a pattern, you know.
Oh, right. Yeah, it worked out well, though, didn't it? Wow, what a beauty. We'll carry on our way along the row here past the glorious Bentley Austin Tourer, 4-door Tourer. That must be pretty unusual. And we have, well, a slice of Americana here. The vintage Chevrolet. Fisher body, so same manufacturers of the body who make the body for our 31 Buick Coupe. This, I think, is a straight 6. A little Carter carburetor down there. Delco Remy. The dynamo, the generator down there. But yeah, this Chevrolet 4-door saloon, or sedan, I guess we should call it. You got the Chevy bow tie on the engine temperature gauge just there, the little motometer. Motometer Co. of Long Island City, New York. Yeah, lovely. 29 is it? 1929, so 2 years older than our Buick. Yeah, handsome car. These American cars of this era, they offer a lot of car for the money. Fuel gauge set into the top of the fuel tank itself. He's dressed very dapper, sir. I like the attire. That's fantastic. What do you call these then? Are they brogues or winkle pickers or?
Yes, the brogues.
No, the brogues. Are they officially brogues? No, they're very dapper, sir. I'll get a few tips for when I drive our old Buick.
Oh right, yeah.
We've got a 31 Buick back at home.
29.
Yeah, a couple of years older, but Fisher body, same people did the body. Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So left-hand drive. So do you know any of the backstory of this one, or?
I do indeed.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right. Where's it been?
It was built in Detroit. It lived its whole life in Illinois. It was bought brand new by a Dutch-American lady called Verdiana Hedke. And she drove it her whole life. When she died, the family clubbed together, had the paintwork redone. But other than that, it's original.
Is it?
And then the family didn't want to be responsible for it, so they sold it on.
Oh, right. And it found its way over. Did you buy it over there or here?
No, I actually bought it from a guy in Chapel on the Frith.
Oh, right.
So the family, they didn't want to be responsible for it. A friend of the family was a German car dealer.
Oh, right.
He was big friends with John, who I bought it from. And he knew that John had a Bullnose Morris that he really wanted. John wouldn't sell it. So he phoned him and he said, "Look, I've got a car that I think you would really like, but I'll only swap it for your Morris." So John did the deal.
Oh, I see.
And then eventually I managed to twist his arm.
Can here? Is this open?
Yeah, sure, it's open. Yeah.
Wowzers! Look at the beautiful trim in here. Oh, so has the trim been redone, do you think?
As far as I know, not.
Wow, that's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
No, and the dome light and everything's original.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, looks like a very comfortable place to be.
It is.
Sort of. I like the little posy holders or whatever. Yeah. Oh, it's in incredible condition, isn't it? What a beauty. Let's have a quick peer at the dash. It feels very similar in here to our old Buick, I must admit. But yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful car. Right, oh, lovely to see that Chevrolet, a magnificent Chevrolet, and the very dapper gentleman. I'm going to have to take some sartorial tips from him. Right, we have a lovely Lagonda parked up over here. Beautiful, beautiful Lagonda. Real quality car of the 1930s, early 1930s I'm guessing. Very, very well equipped dash. We've got some timing gear over there, so I suspect this one gets used quite regularly. And what do we have alongside here then? Another Lagonda, so it's probably slightly smaller, maybe a Rapier possibly. Lagonda Saloon, a 4-door saloon, now that's a bit of a rarity. We see open top Lagondas occasionally at the vintage events we get to, but not too many of these very, very handsome saloons. What a beauty that is. Some great, great cars at this particular event. Got a very late MGA with the step back grille. MGB, the bonnet up, and alongside the B we've got another Ford Model T. This one a bit later than the other one. This, so there we go, that's handy. 1925 Ford Model T. Pretty cool to see that. And on the end of the row, a very bonny little Riley Special that we do see from time to time. We seem to have a gaggle of Lotuses over here, gold leaf liveried Europa, a little Lotus Elan alongside. Right, we'll carry on. We saw some of these arriving just a little while ago, so we'll just have a scoot along here and just see what Lotuses are here, just in case we missed any of them as they were coming in before. The Land Sprint, very nice indeed. Turbo Esprit, Bond car of course, back in the Roger Moore days. Elises, we've seen a few of those here today. We've got an Elan Sprint and some pretty in-period stickerage in this Elan over here. British Vita or Vita Racing, gold leaf Team Lotus. Pretty cool. There's the Elan Plus 2 with the little pop-up lamps that we saw before. Rightio. And the Sunbeam Alpine Club or Register, they often are stationed over this side of the field, and it appears to be the case again today. So we've got quite a gaggle of cars just here. Which one's that one? That's the Tiger. So these originally had the 260 cubic inch V8. Many have been uprated to the 289. There's a white Tiger just alongside as well. Very handsome looking cars indeed. And red, oh, look at this, another red one. I love those knock-ons on there, they're nice. Yeah, quite an assortment of Tigers and Alpines. You can see that's quite an early one with the big fins on it, like that kind of thing. And the fastback, so we've got one with a hardtop on here. It's just got the little seats in the back. This will be the Alpine GT. Yeah, so the roof lifts off, but you haven't got any folding soft top on this, so if you lift the roof off you've got to be pretty sure of your weather, because if it suddenly rains you're going to get wet. And this incredible car, I think we had a good close look at this one last year here at Gawsworth Hall. It really is slick looking car. So yeah, really cool to see all these Roots Group 2-seaters here, very nice indeed. Now we move on to Jensen. We've got a Jensen Interceptor here, bright red Interceptor, and a selection of Bristols. We'll just keep going along the way down here. Not to these 7s, we saw those arriving earlier on when I was hovering around the entrance. An Interceptor 3, so big Chrysler V8 engines under the bonnet of these beauties. Are there any FFs here, I wonder? We will see. Here's the 2 Jensen Healey's. So these 2 arriving quite some time ago now. There's that lovely 541R, the Jensen 541R Austin powered. Lovely car that is. So what year? These were built from 58 to 60 only. Wow. Very stylish Yeah, really do love the look of those. Got a V8 engine DBS. When these first came out, they had the straight six of the earlier Aston still under the bonnet, until such time as the V8 engine was ready. Ah, here we go, the Jensen FF. So at first glance it looks like a regular Interceptor, but slightly squarer at the front, longer nose. You got two sets of grills. This, the FF, or Ferguson Formula, was the very advanced four-wheel drive car. Clearly the design was inspired by and based on the Interceptor, but very, very different car. And yeah, quite a high-tech car for the era, and not too many good ones of those around now. Right, we've got another Interceptor on the end here. I think this was on, well, there was one this colour when we did the Turnhill Classic Car Tour in 2025. Was it this car or was it another car in a similar colour? I'm not entirely sure. And look, we've got more Tickford Capri action over here. So clearly a special gathering of these very, very modified Ford Capris. Didn't realise these were tucked away over here, but rare to see one, let alone four. Well, the bluebells are out and about now. You can just see them over the back there. But my eye is drawn to this RAF liveried Austin 10 Cambridge of the late 1930s. So about 1937-38 is the approximate date of this one. Oh, we did see one of these at a 1940s weekend down at the Slape Airfield just a year or two back. And it actually turned out that that car that we saw there was a car that I dragged out of someone's garden some years before. Now, I'm not sure, I can't remember the registration number. I don't remember it being as distinctive as that, EPJ 111. So I'll have to check, but I'll add a note on the video to see if this is the car that I dragged out of someone's garden, or whether it is another example again put into RAF style livery. This one's got a blackout mask on the headlight there. RAF. It's very, very original inside. So yes, this is the 10 Cambridge. No, it's a 1936. Oh, there we go. It could be the car that I had, I'm not sure. We acquired the car in October 25 in this stripped down state. So was it this one? Maybe, maybe not, but I'll check when I edit this video up. Right here, we'll carry on. We've got a Mustang convertible here. There's that lovely green P4, the Rover 110. We'll just have a quick scoot around here, see what other gems we can spot. Quite the gaggle of Morgans. Some of these we did see coming in before. Some lovely enamel badges on the front here. Ooh. Italia. So this one clearly gets around. Later Morgans, middle-aged Morgans, older Morgans as well. Have we got any Morgan three-wheelers? I don't think we've seen any yet. Certainly quite the assault. This is a very nice early one. I like this. I love the colour. I love these wheels. Very, very stylish, I think. Makes a change from all the wire wheels. Again, quite the gaggle. Very similar enamel badges on the front of this one. Yeah, good looking little car, and like I say, I like him on these steel wheels. Very nice. Right, we carry on. All sorts of Morgans. I know we have some Morgan enthusiasts who watch the videos here on the old classic car channel. So here you go, loads and loads of Morgans, with an MGA just parked up amongst them, again with the later stepped back front grille. Magnificent Vauxhall just over here, being guarded by a little Dachshund down there. Look at the lamps on that. What else is there? Beautiful CAV lamps. Traditionally, the Corvette Club are based here, just overlooking the gardens. There's Gawsworth Hall itself in the background. Magnificent timber frame structure, as you can see, just over the way there. That's the main garden area that we spent the last hour or so walking around very, very slowly. And we carry on along here, just have a quick look at the variety of Corvettes. Look at this incredible Stingray exhausts down the side there. Really very, very cool cars. America's answer, I suppose, to the Jaguar E-Type. This one with a manual gearbox, fiberglass body, pretty wild looking car, especially on those wheels. Really is quite the amazing looking car. Here we've got the later 70s era. Ooh, look at this, 427 Corvette Stingray. Yeah, so Stingray's old and new all the way along here. Heelys and E-types gathered over the way here. So what's this, 100M? Louvered bonnets, the very raked back screen, leather bonnet straps. 100M, some cars were produced by the factory in 100M spec. This was the sporty, almost like a semi-race car version. Others, you could buy a kit and convert your car. This is the early Austin Healey 3000 that Harley has featured on his channel on a couple of occasions now. And we've just got another assortment of Austin Healey's, various, parked up here. What a wonderful setting for it, just with all the bluebells in the background. What a perfect way to spend a bank holiday Monday. Right, we carry on along here. We've got an E-type Interloper, a Series 2 Roadster, in between the many Austin Healeys here today. Oh, and there's another one. Now there's some auto jumble along here, which if I get a chance I'll have a look at that later. The Porsche Club GB, they always have a huge presence in this particular gathering. Lots of the cars are a bit too modern, a bit out of scope really for this, the old classic car channel, but we'll just have a quick look around and just see what oldies we can see here today. So 928 tucked away over there alongside 356 Coupe. And if you think you've seen a lot of classic cars, well, we ain't done yet. We've not even made it down to the main field yet. By gum. Good job I got my boots on, my walking boots. Such an amazing assortment of really early and interesting cars here today, from Ford Model Ts, Rileys, Lagondas, even a few classic motorcycles as well. A pair of BSAs here. Here's the Sunbeam that we saw coming in just a little while back now, and the Lambretta. Here, the Dirac, fantastic. Shades of Genevieve, the very famous film with that one, and the little 1903 auto car. Cars everywhere you look. This is a one-day event. And keep an eye out on the Gawsworth Hall website for dates of future meetings here. There is a gathering at the end of the month for slightly later classics, the Young Timer show, and you still get plenty of interesting cars over for that one. Yeah, and there's that glorious AC8 again. What a cracker this is. Dirac of Paris. It really is a super special looking car. And this is a car that I did feature, or photograph rather, at a VSCC event just a few years ago. In fact, there's the information sheet in the window. Dirac T23 short chassis from 1938. I think that's my photo actually in the window. Yes, that photo, I took that. It's even got the website name at the bottom corner. Yeah, I took that photo at the Burtport pub many years ago. Figoni and Falashi coachwork, 4-seater coupe. Well, described as one of the most beautiful cars ever built. And there's a bit of the history. It's hard to argue with that, it really is. A stunning car, isn't it? Look at the little dorsal fin on it as well. What an amazing looking car that is. That really is the Bobby Dazzler. Look at the way the pop-up indicators, the semaphore indicators, built into the curved rear corner of the roof. It's just a real treat to see this one. Look at the dash, pre-selected gearbox, I assume. Yeah. Wow. An amazing looking car that is. Over here in the corner of the field we have the Congleton Beartown Classic Car Club. A gaggle of various classics along here, headed up by 3 Morris Minors, a couple of Travellers, and the 2-door Morris Minor 1000 Saloon, and the bay window camper, Corniche, the Rover SD1, complete with pretty hefty roll cage in it. So while from a distance it looks like a road car, inside it looks anything but road car. And there is the Vanden Plas 4 litre R with its Rolls-Royce engine. So there's 3 VDP Princesses, the big ones, a 3 litre. This is the 4 litre R that's sold alongside it. This was top of the tree, the most expensive of all. Very similar shape to the 3 litre, although the profile of the back of the roof on the 3 litre Princess was a bit more of a step above the back window. Why they bothered doing that is anyone's guess. Yeah, the mighty 4 litre R Princess. Rolls-Royce Enthusiasts and Bentley over the way here. We saw quite a few of these coming in before. Series 3 E-Type Roadster, so the V12. Is it a manual? Is it automatic? Let's have a look around here. This is a manual box, so 4-speed manual would be standard equipment on one of these. The silver car that I drove a week or 2 back, that had the 5-speed conversion in it, manual box conversion. This Silver Shadow 2, Bentley Continental GT, the Rolls-Royce, could be a Silver Spirit, but it's got the Everflex or the vinyl roof. Now is this a regular Spirit, or is it something else? I do not know, no badging. So we'll go with that. I think that's a Bentley Brooklands. One handsome chunk of car that is. And over here a Bentley T2, so the Bentley version of the Silver Shadow 2. Yeah, definitely Rolls-Royces and Bentley's various assorted vehicles located just over here. This one, well, look how much lower the roofline is of this one, even allowing for the ground compared to the lofty example alongside there and the Tourer over here. So we'll just have a quick look around and just take in some of the sights. Yeah, what a beauty that is. Lots of people are dining. I smell food. It's making me feel quite peckish all of a sudden. So I might have to nip back to the car for some sustenance. But yeah, all sorts of cars. These 2 doors, beautiful cars. Mulliner Park Ward. Really are handsome machines. Rolls-Royce and Bentley mascots everywhere you look around this part of the field. Always good to see. And those are very sleek, I like those. Silver Shadow 2, the regular 4-door saloon version over there. All sorts of cars. Let's just keep going in this general direction. Silver Spirit here. Spirit of Ecstasy, proudly on the top there. I think that by this point in time they were designed to retract, or at least be on a spring if you decide to walk out in front of it. Those are good looking cars. Right, Silver Shadow 1 here with the chrome bumpers. Quite like the look of those as well. And then we're back to much earlier motor cars. This is a 1920 Silver Ghost. Wow, look at that. Beautiful lamb's wool rug to sit on there. Carburation weak or strong. Ignition late or early. Nothing so vulgar as advance and retard. You have late or early. Oh, beautiful, beautiful car. Nickel plated fittings everywhere you look. Beautiful machine. Really is a Bobby Dazzler, the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. Very famous car in the early Rolls-Royce catalogue. Some really handsome motor cars dotted around here. There's the Derby Bentley we saw coming in before, and tucked away over here we've got a little Vanden Plas Princess, a little 1300. So I think now is a good time to report back into OCC HQ, grab something to eat, something to drink, and then we'll have a proper look around the field, I think. Good thing about some of these events is people bring bits and bobs for sale out of their garage. I spy lots and lots of nice old car bulbs down there. Right, let's make a start on this field. Over in the corner we've got the TR Register. Always a huge variety of cars here. This, the TR250 we saw arriving a little while ago, and like I say, carburettor powered. This one has been upgraded to triple Webers. And it did sound glorious when it came in before. Yeah, pretty cool, the American spec TR. Right, we'll just have a quick dash around and just see what gems we can spot, just to give you an overall flavour. If you've not been to this particular event before, and I know quite a few people come to this event as a result of watching these kind of videos, so that's kind of cool to hear. And yeah, if you like your old Triumphs, your sporting Triumphs in particular, not seen too many Triumph saloons, but in terms of sporting Triumphs, well, you're very well served here today at Gawsworth Hall. We'll just carry on along here. Various TR4s, 4As, 5s, 6s. Got a 3A here, so this was the upgraded version of the TR3, the Triumph Sports Owners Association badge on the front of that one. So the full width grille, that tells you it's a 3A as opposed to a 3. Should have the outside door handles as well, yeah. The 3 didn't have the door handles on the outside the door. Gaggle here, we've got a TR3. Talking of TR3s, so right, we've got the 3 with the grille, but the narrow grille. So there was a TR2 which didn't have any grille at all, the 3 which had this narrowish grille, and then the 3A with a much wider grille over the way there. So yeah, you can see, I haven't seen any TR2s yet today, but all the other versions seem to be pretty well catered for here today. Right, let's carry on back down this general way, because there are all sorts of cars here today, and I want to make sure we feature as many of the eye-catching cars, the most distinctive cars, before they start heading off. Quite a varied lineup here. We've got the mighty Corvette, a little Austin Mini, the Mark 1 Austin Mini, and the mighty V8 Ford pickup truck alongside. Wowzers, that's quite a chunk of metal, that one. It's a 1951, it says on the bottom of the number plate there, which is quite handy. And it looks to be super original. Proper preservation job, a bit like our 47 half-ton Dodge at home. But I don't think I've seen this one anywhere before. Period jerry can on the side. Nice new wood in the back. Yeah, like that. Right, we carry on along here. Now, I've seen this one before, I forget what it is. Is it a Mercury? I think it's a Canada Special. Plymouth, a Canadian registered 1985. Yeah, Plymouth, right. GMC alongside again. Looks very, very original. Incredible Ford station wagon, the Ford LTD. That's a 68 car. 58 Buick alongside. Mustang, Dodge Challenger RT. And here is that wonderful Chevy Bel Air. Now, regulars to the channel will know I do like a classic estate car, and I like original paint as well. And when they combine, like we see here, well, this really is a treat for the eyes. There's a TVR Chimera just coming in. A little Alpha GTV, very tasty little car like that. But yeah, these are just so cool with these wraparound side windows. They'd also do the two-door estate version as well. Was that the Nomad? I'm not sure. But this is definitely a Bel Air from 1955. And I love the fact that it's just been preserved. It's obviously had paint at some point in time. The blue. Maybe it hasn't. No, I tell a lie. I think the blue has just been applied over the cream. So maybe the whole car was painted cream to begin with. And then the blue accents were added on afterwards. But the end result is just this wonderfully original patinated station wagon. And I have to say, this really is a glorious, glorious car. I'm not into the Finn era of American cars, but up to the mid-50s, yeah, I like them, especially when they are the estate car versions or station wagons that you see here. And this left-hand drive. What a great, great machine. And look at the emblem on the front of the bonnet there. Pretty amazing. Right here, which way are we going? We're going this way. The replica Speedster's off, as is the C-Type behind it. Quite the gaggle of Ford XRs over here. I think we saw most of these arriving earlier on. Same for the various MG Midgets and Austin Healey Sprites tucked away over here. Quite a few of them were coming in while I was hovering over near the entrance, but lovely, lovely little cars. I could be very tempted with a Frog Eye. We were looking at some Frog Eyes that were for sale at Manor Park in the auction just 2 or 3 weeks ago, and yeah, I can definitely see the temptation with one of these fun little two-seaters. Nice simple A-series running gear, basically originally lifted from the A35, a couple of carburetors, and off you go. But yeah, very fun little cars these are. P4 on manoeuvres over there, a black one. Right, let's keep going. So all sorts of variations on the Spridget theme. Some MG Midgets, some the Austin Healey Sprites. So that's really cool to see. Right, now we are over in Wolseley Corner. So here is a 1660, I think. There was the 1560 that came before with the slightly smaller engine. When the overriders are a bit further out, that tells you it's a 1660 with the 1622cc engine. Slightly wider rear track as well compared to the 1560 that came before. So I used to have one of these many years ago, mind you. This little Wolseley 12 again with the famous illuminating badge just in the middle there. Real quality cars. By this point in time they shared much of their body pressings with contemporary Morrises, but obviously you got the big vertical Morris grille on the front, etc, etc. Wolseley 1500. Now here's that little saloon which I guessed might be a Hornet, because it sounded a bit like a 6. Is it a Hornet? Or is it the 4-cylinder Wasp? I'm still none the wiser. Maybe this is not the same car actually. Not that it really matters, but just a lovely mid-1930s Wolseley. Maybe it'll say on the back, maybe it won't. Anyway, not to worry. Always good to see pre-war cars out and about. Oh, hello.
Not a pre-war road today.
There is a lot of
there, but, yeah.
There is a lot of pre-war car here. We've got various Wolseley Hornets, the little booted minis, effectively with the posher interiors. Another 12 horse over here, the bonnet raised. There we go. Lovely car. Great to see 2 of them together here today. This is the Wolseley 690 I just caught the tail off coming in as I was down near the entrance, and that really is quite a rare car indeed. What are we looking at, sorry? Oh yeah, it is a nice Mobil oil can under the bonnet of this 12 horse. Very, very nice. Carburettor there on its side, the SU. Right, let's carry on. Ooh, we've got some magazines here. Not that I need any more magazines. Wolseley 1500 from 1964. The Volvo Amazon. And the Wolseley 1550 on the end. Now, whether this is the original car from the New Avengers TV series or a very faithful homage to it, I don't know. I'm guessing it's probably a replica of it. This body kit that you see here is something that was fitted to the Broad Speed Racing XJ12Cs in the 1970s. I well remember them. In fact, it's even got a bowler hat on the rear parcel shelf. Wow, what a fantastic thing. And the brolly as well. Fantastic. Patrick McNee played Steed in the New Avengers, and he drove a car that looked just like this. Wowzers. That's really cool. Is this one yours, sir?
I wish it was.
It's pretty cool. What a wild looking car. Proper 70s job that is. I spy more things for sale. Some little fake knock-ons there, I think. A couple of workshop manuals. A little switch panel. Nice tyre gauge, I like those. £4 each. A little balloon tyre pressure gauge, proper vintage tyre gauges there. Yeah, very cool things indeed. Right, let's carry on. Keep going. We've got a little two-stroke Trabant, a left-hand drive Trabi. Wowzers, East German built. These were built in their thousands. That's a fairly late example. Porsche 944, Sunbeam Rapier. Like I say, we did see, I think this one at the Coachman perhaps. Stingray. There's the Leyland Princess that we saw from a distance arriving just a little while back. Don't see too many of those around there. Little Riley Elf, immaculate little Riley Elf. The Boat Tail Alpha. There's those two VW campers that arrived together. And next to the bay window is this super clean, super original little standard 10 Deluxe MDB 97, the original registration number. And it's getting kind of unusual to see these little cheap and cheerful cars from the 50s still with their original registration numbers, because the number plate pirates often get to cars like this, rip the numbers off, flog them for a profit, and then sell the car on with an age-related plate on instead. And it's always such a shame to see that. But this looks very original, the paint. It's just got that nice sort of bloom to it. That's a resprayed car, never has. So the standard Super 10, unlike our little 8, this has got the 948 engine, and luxury of luxuries, the opening boot lid, which most 8s did not have. Yeah, great little car that is. Right, we carry on our look around here. We've been over there. There's a Westfield, very much inspired by the Caterham 7, the wartime Jeep, two-door coupe, the Merc C124, and then this lovely vintage 1920s Austin 12.4. Like I say, a real good assortment of pre-war cars here today, and that's a real treat, because you don't often say that when you come to these particular events. Pre-war cars don't always turn up in huge numbers, and when they do, well, it's great to see them, and I'll always have a good close look. Here's that Pontiac Firebird, which, like I said before, is one of my favourite of the muscle car era cars. I like those a lot. E-Type Series 1, 1500 midget, and in magenta, a Mark III version of the Triumph GT6. Ooh, Spitfire, but with a 2.5 in it. This brings back happy memories of a Mark III Spitfire that I used to have with the 2.5 saloon engine shoehorned into the chassis. Mine had been mounted quite a long way further back, so the back of the rocker cover here was about here, and someone had actually cut away part of the bulkhead. And the engine mounts, these pick up on the front of the suspension tower, but mine picked up on the back there. Shortened prop shaft, shortened gear lever extension, and it handled really well. It went like a rocket, and the sound was just amazing. Not much in the way of silencing on the car I had. But yeah, it's neat to see another 2.5 litre Spit. Of course, they never made these in period, so someone has made this up themselves. The GT6 had a similar engine, but that was always over 2 litre from the factory. This though, the 2.5, a much torquier engine, very different engine note compared to the 2 litre straight 6. Yeah, very nice. One of the few cars that I used to own that I'd buy back again is that 2.5 Spitfire, if it is still around somewhere. GRO 536G. Rightio, anyway, we've got a Series 2 XJ here. This an XJ12L, so it's a long wheelbase Series 2, and it's got the 5.3 V12. This must be quite an early Series 2, because when I had an XJ12 Series 1 in the mid-90s, and that had the 4 Stromy carburetors, same as fitted to the E-Type Series 3. And the Series 2 came along, and for a time they carried on with the carburetors, the Strombergs, before they switched to fuel injection. So this must be a fairly early Series 2. Makes it quite an unusual car, actually, because most of the ones you see are on fuel injection by this sort of era, the mid-1970s. Yeah, this one very definitely on Stromberg carburetors. All these balance pipes across the top here. Distributor in the middle of the V, just over there. Not too bad to get to, but yeah, certainly plenty going on under that bonnet. Yeah, no. So, yeah, great example of a Series 2 XJ12L XK150 alongside. So we've got a trio of classic Jaguars, 150 and another 150 alongside that. Now here's a blast from the past, a pale blue Volvo 121. When I were not but a nipper back in the 1970s, Dad had a 2-door 121, same colour as this. So happy memories of these, and it's probably what got me into Amazons and subsequent purchases of Amazons and indeed PVs over the years. And I certainly won't rule out owning another one of these one day. This a 4-door car, his was a 2-door. I'm guessing this is the regular 121 with either the B18 or possibly the B20, but I'm guessing 1966 that would still be the 1.8 litre car. Single carburettor, the 122S, so it's a slightly perkier version with the twin SUs. But yeah, good, solid, dependable cars. And good looking as well, I think. Right, let's carry on. What else can we see down this particular row? We've got a Series 2 E-Type fixed head. TR4A, I think. Pair of minis. And look at this mighty Comma. This is a Comma Q4. Regulars to the channel may remember a few years ago I used to have a Comma Superpoise which had the same basic cab as that, and it had been used as a racing car transporter back in the 1950s. But this is an ex-military Comma Q4, so same basic Comma Superpoise cab but lifted up and with 4-wheel drive running gear. Quite a thirsty old things these were, but very, very characterful. Back in the mid-1990s when I kept Big Dodge in a barn over in Poynton, there was one of these sat outside the barn which I could have had for £150, and it wasn't even in bad condition. Maybe it was a good job I didn't buy that. Very characterful. If it's the original engine, it's just a big side valve, straight 6 petrol. Quite a few of these have been re-engined as diesels. I can't quite see which engine this one has, but we'll go with flathead 6-cylinder unless we hear otherwise. But really cool 1950s Comma Q4. Mrs. OCC used to run a black A30 as her daily for a little while back in the mid-1990s. This is the A35 with a slightly larger engine, but it's just an evolution of the old A30s. This a 2-door example. The Alpha Spider there. Jaguar Mark 1. Ooh, no, I do like these. I like a Mark 2, but I love the Mark 1s. This one in the Curiacos blue. Curiacos, the Scottish racing team of the 1950s. They raced various Jaguar C-types and D-types, and this is in the colour scheme, the colour, the blue that they used, but being the Mark 1, it's got the wider rear axle, so I wonder if it's got a Mark II rear axle, because quite often the rear wheels are quite tucked in on the Mark 1s compared to the 2s, but it's not unknown for people to put Mark II rear axles on a Mark 1. That may be the case here, or possibly the wheels have just been spaced out a little bit. But I do love the Mark 1s with thicker windscreen pillars compared to the Mark II. Which engine? A 3.8. Because when the Mark 1s first came out, they were available with either the 2.4 or the 3.4. The 3.8 was never sold originally by the factory in the Mark 1 cars. So this has been, the big engine has been retrofitted into here, possibly lifted out of a Mark II, because the 3.8 was offered in the Mark II. Twin SU carburetors on this one. It's got an alternator conversion, but yeah, lots and lots of engine But what a beautiful, beautiful car, and my favourite colour as well. That really is just a beautiful car. Yeah, much thicker window pillars compared to the Mark II. Smaller back window as well, and this lovely Jaguar script on the back of it. Smaller backlights, 2 pipes sticking out the back, Coombs style rear arches, the cutaway rear arches. That really is peak Jaguar saloon, I think. We're back to pre-war cars now. We've got the Triumph Gloria. Quite an unusual carburettor setup on this. One horizontally mounted SU in the usual manner, and then this one on the top here. Very interesting looking engine. These have the twin rear windows as well, which is quite distinctive Triumph thing in the pre-war days. I don't see many of these around. This is a 2-door coupe, so it's a good looking car, very unusual now. Very unusual little car, that is. The Triumph Gloria. Very nice indeed. Right, we go past the Series 2 fixed head. Here's that mucho modified Ford V8 Pilot. Many, many mods on this one. Originally 3.6 flathead V8. What have we got in there? Definitely not a flathead. Super little Mini Cooper there, the twin SUs on display. Really cool. We've got a Mark III GT6 in white, Mark 1 Mini alongside. It's a Morris badged Mini. The little Sprite here, the little MG Frog, MG Midget rather, 4x4 Panda. The Mercedes-Benz SL, the R107, debumpered Fiat 124. Smart trio of badges on the front of this dark blue Triumph TR6. Another SL, Staffordshire registration. A little midget here. Mark IV Escort, presumably XR3i Cabriolet. Next to the MR2 we've got the Sport Hatch, the Vauxhall Sport Hatch, the Bedford CF Bedouin camper van. Very, very original. They're having their lunch in there, so we won't poke the camera too closely. Rover 100 bonnet raised, 6-cylinder, the Rover P4. There we go, 6-cylinder, 2.6 litres. Handy little note there. Mini Clubman Saloon from 1975, blaze orange. Very, very original looking little car, that one. A later Mini Cooper. Immaculate example, Triumph Herald 1200 from 1967. So this has got the 1147cc engine in it. Very similar to that in our 1250. Super clean car, great colour for it as well. E-registration, so early to mid 1967 is the date on that one. But yeah, nice looking little car. MX-5 Mark 1, reminds me I must get ours out and again. Little Mini Daimler. So got the Daimler V8 250 or the 2.5 litre depending on the year. They did change the name at some point. But yeah, basically the Jaguar Mark II with the Daimler 2.5 V8 engine under the bonnet. Mazda. Which one's this? The MX-6, is it? Yeah, MX-6 with a V6 engine. E-Type with the bonnet raised. E-Type with the bonnet down. Ford Fiesta Mark II heads up this row. We see this one quite a lot at the Convermen meetings. The Merc SLK, vivid green RS 2000. Many, many stickers, many, many events attended. RS Owners Club events. The B, that one on the J registration. The Vauxhall engine Ford Escort Mark II. There's that somewhat lowered, very, very modified Ford 100E. That's got a Zetec engine under the bonnet. This is the Gilburn. Wow, so the Welsh-built Gilburn. Very unusual looking car. Quite a handsome looking car, fiberglass body, I think. Lots of engine in this particular example. So it says 1968. Gilburn Genie. Wow, I bet that moves a bit. Can't weigh much at all. There's our XJ8. Similar colour to the Maxi alongside it. It's fairly late Maxi, that's the 1750 with the metal plates on it, which is good to see. The gear version of the Ford Escort Mark II. And there's the Anglia Super, the 123E. Another very, very modified 100E. By gum, that's not a factory colour. That's not a factory engine on individual throttle bodies over the way. So yeah, very modified. Talking of modified Fords, we've got this based on an EO48 Anglia. It's a little Midge kit car, Triumph based. And this is where I saw all those old car bulbs for sale. I like that kind of thing. Very, very nice. D-bumper TR alongside. It looks like a TR4. Quite a few of these Fiat 124s here today. We've got two here, both chrome bumper examples. A Jaguar S-Type, or the 3.4 or 3.8S, depending which of the engines is under the bonnet of that one. Independent rear suspension. There's the Nissan Bluebird, 9,000 miles up for sale, 3,850. Mark II Escort, quite a late Mark II version. Mark III Mini on a J plate. MGB GT V8 with a Rover 3.5 under the bonnet. And a lovely Sunbeam Talbot 90 drop head. These are very handsome looking cars indeed. So you do see a few Sunbeam Talbot 90s around and the later Mark IIIs. Not too many of these drop head cars, the open top versions. Very, very swish indeed. Very nice looking car. Right, the SL, that one with the roof down. E-Class Merc, the 124. BMW Z3, that one is for sale. The MGZT, this is the ZT260 with a Mustang running gear in it. So Rover Group heavily re-engineered the car to accommodate the Mustang V8 and rear wheel drive. So they really went to town converting and upgrading these cars to accommodate the Mustang engine. Another A35 alongside. Very bonny two-door car with a VW Carman gear. Volkswagen powered, left-hand drive, all left-hand drive as far as I remember. A little 7 over here. And a super clean Hillman Imp. Next to that, next to the immaculate Hillman Imp with aftermarket front spoiler on it, is this. So we've got a little Morris 1300, mini light wheels. Bonnie Mini there, and on the end of the row we have a Jaguar XK8 convertible, the naturally aspirated version. There's an SL on manoeuvres just here with their R107 series, quite a few of those here today. Now we've got a gaggle of BMC cars next to the Audi. Starting up with this Morris Minor 1000, a two-door Moggy 1000 on the G plate. So 1098cc engine under the bonnet of that one. Also A-series powered, but whereas the engine in this one is fore and aft, i.e. front to back, in the Mini and the 1100 it was A-series but transversely mounted on top of the gearbox, which is pretty novel. This is a Morris Mini Minor, so Mark 1 Mini. The very first Minis were the Morris versions, then the Austin 7 version came along just a little while afterwards. But the first Minis, the very first Minis in 1959 were the Morris version. This one has got a different grille on it compared to what it would have had originally. Then we've got a Mark II alongside. And here is that Austin A60 Cambridge, an increasingly rare car at the shows we tend to get to. At one time you'd see a few of these, but not so much now. We saw the Vanderplast 4-litre R and the Wolseley 1660. This is the Austin A60 Cambridge. This and the Morris Oxford equivalent, they were probably the most popular, the most commonly seen of all the medium-sized Farinas back in the sort of 60s, 70s and so on. This one, like I say, JC, I'm pretty sure that's a North Wales registration. And when we used to go on holiday in North Wales back in the 1980s, 90s, you'd still see these ones all over the place. But now not so much. Right, we move on down here. We've got a Vitesse convertible just over here, a Mark II Triumph Vitesse. 64 TR4, Carman gear, very sleek looking car indeed. Another Daimler SP250. Good looking machine. The Triumph Roadster, that one 1948. Austin Healey 100 here. Another one alongside it. So we've got 100M alongside. A Ferrari, the front engine V12 Ferrari here. Correct number of cylinders at the correct end of the car for a Ferrari. Not so sure about engines behind the seat, but in front, especially when there are 12 spark plugs. Yeah, that's pretty good. Here's that incredible Piper. The Mazda RX-7, the rotary engine Mazda RX-7, that one about 1985 or 6. Another Vitesse Mark II convertible, this one with what looked like Ford RS seats in it with the fishnet head restraints. And the Opel Manta GTE. There's that glorious MG Magnet we saw arriving a few hours back. Apparently this one under 30,000 miles from new, still with its original registration, which is always great to see. Here's a bit of a potted history on this particular car. Purchased new in 1955 by a Mr. Sidney Turnbull. There we go, so a bit of the history there if you want to pause the video. So it's got a 5-speed gearbox and disc brakes with servo. Otherwise pretty much as original. And nice picnic set in the back as well. What a beautiful interior. That really is in lovely, lovely condition. Wow, what a great car. Right, we have the Vauxhall Viva HC alongside. That's a 1974 car. Very closely related to that droop snoot sports hatch we were looking at a little while back, the maroon example. Mustang, badged up as a 260. TR4 just here. Porsche Boxster, a little Suzuki Cappuccino. A little Japanese K cars, very, very small cars. TVR Chimera, open headlamps on that one. XJ6 Series 3. There's our XJ8 just behind it. Capri 2, the Ford Capri, so this was the model that introduced the hatchback to the Ford Capri. That's a 2-litre S. An incredible comma PB here with a drop side pickup body on it. That really is very eye-catching little comma. Sierra, looks like it could be an XR 4x4. The Vauxhall Victor here. So this is the FE Victor, I had to think then. The FE Victor Estate. What an amazingly practical car that is. Pretty cool looking as well in that metallic green. And a very, very rare survivor. How has that survived? I really love those full width wheel trims on there as well. Yeah, the FE, that had the much deeper radiator that went above and below the bumper sort of cut across the centre. The FD was very much more horizontal, if I remember correctly. Right, we carry on. We've got a lovely A35 here in black. This is one we've seen at the Middlewich. We've seen this at the Middlewich Classic Car Show and also Hopley House from time to time. Lovely, lovely little cars. We were only looking at these advertised yesterday when I was sort of talking hypothetically with Harley about what he might get as his first old car. We had to look at a few adverts for A35s, amongst other things. And on the end of the row here, another glorious Series 1 E-Type Roadster, this one, with the mighty huge bonnet raised, revealing the straight six engine underneath.
So, any trouble your cars at home, we'll go.
And tucked away over here, there's that 7 Series BMW, the E23 728i. And this is probably one of the rarest cars here today, to be honest, in terms of survivors. They weren't rare in the day. I mean, this was a rival to maybe the smaller engined Jaguar XJs of the era, that kind of thing. I've never owned one of these. Like I say, I was offered my mate's dad's 728 years and years and years ago. But I didn't take him up on that. And then this was replaced by the E32, which I did have 2 examples of. I had 2 V12 examples of the E32, but I've never ended up owning one of these, the E23. Quite slab-sided. These are contemporary of the 635 CSI coupes, which we do see. Those big 6 Series coupes we do see fairly often at the events we get to. They've been preserved in reasonable numbers. But these big saloons that were sold alongside them, not so much. So it's pretty cool to see this one here today. Very, very unusual survivor now. Not uncommon back in the day, but now extremely so, some 40 odd years later. Right, we've got an XJS Coupe. Got quite the following now, and this, the Riley 1.5. So yeah, we saw one of these before over in the Garden area. Really neat little cars, popular little rally cars back in the day. Quite a sporty drive, based on the underpinnings of the Morris Minor. So you've got rack and pinion steering in those, which is kind of good. Another Spitfire here, this one with the traditional engine. Regular little 4-cylinder engine, which was an evolution of that engine first, the SC engine, which made its debut in the Standard 8 in the early 1950s. The Alpha Spider, Austin Healey Sprite there. The MGB LE, one of the GTs. XK. There's a little 100E popular. So these were produced towards the back end of the 1950s. When the Sit-Up and Beg Ford Pop went out of production, they brought out this, the popular version of the 100E, as a sort of the most affordable car in the Ford range at the time. Little 2-door saloon, the 1172 engine, which was different to the engine that was fitted in the Sit-Up and Beg Ford Pop, although it was the same capacity at 1172, but these had such mod cons as a water pump built in and adjustable valves. On the earlier Sit-Up and Beg side valve engines, you had to grind the heads of the valves down if you wanted to adjust them. This is that amazing little Puma, the Brazilian built VW Puma. What a groovy looking car that is, especially on those wheels. They look really pretty special. Amazingly sleek car. You'd certainly never really guess until you heard it running that this was based on the Beetle engine and running gear, the little air-cooled V-dub engine here in the tail. There we go. The Puma, long before Ford brought out their Puma. Really great looking little car, and huge wheels on the back, which really do look special. That is a very, very good looking little car, I think. Let's just go around here. So it's left-hand drive, but you don't see these all that often, so it's well worth having a close look when you do see one at an event, which isn't exactly common. I think I've only ever seen 2. Nice detail on the door handling. It's very, very easy on the eye, that little sporty coupe. The Lotus Elan alongside is also a pretty handsome son of a gun. These Mercs, super popular. The youthful assistant is a big fan of this era, the sort of Dallas era, if you like, of the Mercedes-Benz SL. And here's that Mini with the rally chopper on the roof. There's a good old Rover, the Rover 75. I think this is one of the P3 eras of the Rover, immediately post-war perhaps. It could be pre-war, but I think that is late 40s in date. Super quality car. Quite a distinctive radiator mascot on Rovers of this era as well. Yeah, lovely, lovely looking thing. Dark black paint, glistening, the chrome set off beautifully against it. Really is lovely quality thing. Armstrong Siddeley here, just being admired. Yes, fine machine. Don't see too many of them around. Presumably it's got the pre-selector box similar to that fitted to Daimler's. Yeah, well, there we go, there's that fold back roof. I was saying about how you could fold back the roof. Is this yours, sir? That's your son's, is it? Yeah. Really unusual now, isn't it? Has he got 3 of these? Right. 3 Armstrong Sidleys. Wow. Oh, is this the...
The older one's 100 this year.
Is it? Oh wow, wowzers. Fantastic. Yeah, wow, so clearly an Armstrong Siddeley enthusiast. Wow. Yeah, lovely thing. You've got the divider in the rear there, so the chauffeur will be sat on their own sum up at the front. There's the Herald 1360. A little Vincent, that's a little Triumph based kit car. Let's have a look along here. What else can we see? More Beetle action. Porsche 924S. I like the Germanic style plates. That's pretty cool. Another bay window. I keep thinking I'm seeing the same one unless someone keeps moving it around the field. Right, another 3 litre, so P5 saloon, a 3 litre car. These strips down the side weren't used on the P5B that came along later with the Buick derived V8, and the V8 also had the extra lamps under the main headlamps, but this is 3 litre as you can see there. Right, we'll keep going down here. Alpha Spider. There's this amazing little VW. We saw this one at the Swettenham Arms just a couple of weeks back. Look at that. Now, which one is this? The Vogue Estate. It is the Singer Vogue Estate. Wow. So this is one of the Arrow series cars, a bit like the Hillman Hunter, Hillman Minx of the late 60s, early 1970s. The Singer Vogue, well, that was quite a rare variant. And the Vogue Estate, wow, that's almost extinct, you must think. There can't be many of these left. Very, very unusual sight. So because of that, we'll have a closer look, because I don't know when we'll see another one. Singer Vogues we see from time to time. The sort of Humber Scepter shape, we come across those. It's got an auto box as well. But this, the Arrow era of Singer Vogue in estate form. Wowzers, I was saying that 7 Series BM is pretty rare. I think this one is, well, I'm sure this one is even rarer. Wow. What a survivor car that is. Alongside the very rare Singer Vogue, we've got this Lancia Coupe, beautifully sleek Pininfarina designed Lancia Coupe. Porsche here. The Merc now, like I say, W114 or 115. Could be either. They looked pretty much identical as far as I'm aware. And on the end here, a lovely 911. One of the Chimeras is departing now. Lovely burble from that V8 engine. No shortage of TVRs here today. Which one's this? Is it a Grand Tourer? Kind of looks like one from the front, but I could easily be wrong because they did the Vixen as well. Yeah, so the Vixen, this is the Vixen S3. Right, okay. Yes. Clearly very well travelled TVR. I'll carry on down here. All sorts of shapes and sizes. Some of the S series cars. We've got the 390 SE Wedge over here. A couple of Chimeras, one with the covered headlights, the other without. Pottery's MG Club just over in the corner here, MGTD there, and GT just heading off. There's one of the RV8s that are here today. MGA Roadster, we've seen 2 or 3 of those. Now we've got the historic rally car register. So, looks like a lot of fun, this little Moggy Miner. It's got a Knutsford and District Motor Club badge on the front. They're very active to this day. Little Talbot here, the Sunbeam Talbot. Ford Escort Mark 1. And another gaggle of MGs just over the way here. Different shapes, sizes and models. But all proudly wearing the MG octagons on their grille. Look at this over here, another Ford Model T, this one with a painted radiator surround. So I've seen a few different eras of the famous Tin Lizzie here today. There's another left-hand drive car. You can clearly see the transverse leaf, the front suspension, which was a feature on Fords for so many years. I like the little rack on the side so you can stash your goodies on the running board without risk of them falling off. You've got this extending thing here, so this could, if there wasn't a toolbox here, you could actually extend that entirely along the length of the running board. Proper Laurel and Hardy spec Ford Model T. Like that kind of thing. Right, we carry on around here just to make sure we don't miss anything out. Very swish 4-door, but it looks like a coupe, but this is a 4-door Rolls-Royce just tucked away over here. And another Mulliner part wall bodied 2-door alongside. Up on the raised banking here, a few more cars. We've got an R129 Mercedes-Benz SL. Lovely dark blue colour, really do suit this era, I think, of the Mercedes SL. Little Boxster, a few years old, that's 02 registered. Austin Healey 100 here. 4-cylinder engine in that one, whereas this has the straight 6, the 3000 Mark II. Got an XKR convertible, supercharged, hence the louvers in the top of the bonnet. And we saw a Jaguar XJ Series 3 earlier on. This is the Daimler badge version, so slightly higher spec, slightly plusher, equivalent to the Jaguar, but to all intents and purposes pretty similar. I think these extra strips are a Daimler thing, of course, as is the fluted radiator grille and the plinth on the boot. Individual rear seats, you'll note in this one, as opposed to the usual bench seat arrangement. That was a Daimler feature as well. Sliding steel sunroof. Proper waft of very elegant looking cars, these. Daimler 66, so it's the V12, the 5.3 litre car. So yeah, 5.3 litre single camper bank, fuel injection, automatic gearbox as they all were. No manuals were offered on these. It's on the J plates, that's quite a late example of the breed. I like the TWR Jaguar Oxford number plates as well. That's pretty cool. TWR, Tom Walkinshaw Racing, of course the name very much associated with XJS racing back in the day. Talking XJS's, we've got a convertible here with the American spec headlights. This is a full convertible as opposed to the XJSC. 2-door Daimler coupe here. So this could be 4.2 or V12. Let's have a look, see if there's any clues around the back. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Fuel injection 66. So the Daimler 66 coupe. Wowzers. Bet there are very few of those still around. Properly rare car, the Daimler 66 coupe, or the, yeah, wowzers, that really is quite an unusual car. And just to round off this set, we have a pair of Bentleys over here. And hidden away over here near the back wall, it looks like we've got a recreation of the old listed Jaguar. Wow, pretty special looking car. The original Lister Jaguar, a sports racer of the 1950s, went up against the likes of the Jaguar D-types. Very similar running gear, beautiful swoopy coachwork on these. I remember having a passenger ride in one of these briefly many years ago. Yeah, pretty cool to see this one hidden over the back here.
shop, yeah.
We're gonna make some moves. Nice chatting to you.
All right, yeah, and you guys. Hopefully.
I almost missed this one. Was this one parked here before? I do not know, but this, wow, the Sunbeam Alpine. That is pretty rare car now. Quite a sporting car of the early 1950s. Many louvers in the bonnet. Popular choice for rallying, the Monte Carlo rally and such like in those early post-war years. Really great to see this. We saw the Sunbeam Talbot 90 drophead a little bit earlier, which is kind of similar looking. But this is the Alpine. I like the extra drillings in the wheels just for a bit of extra brake cooling when you're speeding down those mountain passes on these continental rallies. Beautiful interiors in these. Very, the Roots Group stuff was so stylish. I think the tacho, the rev counter in the middle down there, I think that was standard fitment on these, the Alpines. Wonderful car, column change, lovely leather trim. And very sleek styling indeed. There must be oodles of storage space in the back there behind the seats. Really long swooping tail on these and just so handsome. Pop-up semaphore indicators. Looks like there's a standard heater tucked well under the dashboard down under there. Yeah, what a wonderful looking, very easy on the eye car. So one of the 3As is just disappearing. Extra pair of lamps, Lucas lamps, period lamps on the front of this one, and a couple of extra badges just for good measure. Spot of fettling on the Silver Ghost. Right folks, well there are some gaps in the field now. Several cars have left and more are leaving as I speak, so it's probably time to wrap this one up. Thank you so much for watching this particular video. It's been great to come back to Gawsworth Hall for their annual classic car show, and if you can only get to one event this year in this neck of the woods in the northwest, well, I would put this on your shortlist. It is really great. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment, all that kind of thing, and there'll be loads more videos on very soon. So bye for now.
more of a TC.
Nice to see them moving, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
It'd be really nice.
Looks pretty.
You do, I know what you mean.
How much it's meant to them. So it's been really good. I'm really
That's what I didn't mean to say actually. There's been 4.
One or two gaps in the field now.
Yeah, it looks all the way around back of that. Have you seen it since that?